आशासुराशी भवदङ्गवल्ली भासैव दासीकृतदुग्धसिन्धुम् मन्दस्मितैर्निन्दितशारदेन्दुं वन्दे रविन्दासनसुन्दरित्वाम् वक्तारमासाद्ययमेव नित्या सरस्वती स्वार्थसमन्वितासीत् निरस्तदुस्तर्ककळङ्कपङ्का नमामि तं शङ्करमर्चिताङ्घ्रिम् सदात्मध्याननिरतं विषयेभ्यः परान्मुखं नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखरभारतीम् श्रीमच्छङ्करदेशिकेन्द्रकलिते धर्मव्यवस्थापके पुण्ये पीठचतुष्टयेति महितां श्रीशारदापीठिका आरूढस्य समस्तशास्त्रनिचये पाण्डित्यसीमाजुषः विद्यातीर्थजगद्गुरो मम गुरो श्रीपादुका मे गतिः पुंभावं समवेयुषी भगवती किं भारती राजते किं वा साधनसंभृतं धृतवपुर्ज्ञानं समिन्धेः परम् इत्युल्लिख्य सविस्मयं कृतधियो ध्यायन्ति यं भारती तीर्थस्यास्य जगद्गुरो कुशलदा श्रीपादुका मे गतिः कुंभारति समुद्भूतान् शशिमौळिप्रपूजकान् श्रीशङ्करस्वरूपार्या नौमि शास्त्रविशारदान् सर्वश्रुतिशिरोद्भूतसमुद्भासितमूर्तये वेदान्ताम्बुजसूर्याय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। The ever compassionate Parameshwara left his holy abode of Kailasa and took the holy form of Dakshinamurti to teach the Sanakadi. And the mode of teaching in that avatara is through Mauna. Mauna that we know of or that we translate of into silence is not Mauna. When nothing is communicated, we call it silence. When there is not even one chitta vritti, when there is not even a single thought, thoughtlessness, and still the Guru is able to impart whatever is necessary, that is called Maunam. I have not come across the exact word for Maunam in English, so I will stick to Maun. The same Dakshinamurti left the Vatavriksha under which he was sitting and descended on this holy Bharata Bhumi on Shukla Panchami, Vaishakha Shukla Panchami, that is tomorrow. Words cannot just express the work that Bhagavad acharya has done in the short span of 32 years. Had Bhagavad acharya not descended from Dakshinamurti Swarupa as Adi Shankara Bhagavad acharya, we would not be sitting here peacefully today. There were 72 Avaidika matas which were quarreling with each other, with full of hatred, and those that are unknown to Bharata Bhumi. He toured the length and breadth of India thrice. And for him to continue this teaching and his legacy, he established the 4 Amnaya Pithas. Amnaya means Vedas. He established the 4 Amnaya Pithas, and one In south, that is in Sringeri. The other monumental work that Bhagavad Acharya did was to give us Gita. Had Bhagavad Acharya not taken Gita from the ocean of Mahabharata, we would not be knowing what is Gita today. Every saint who has come to, who has been an Avatara Purusha in this country, has touched Gita. And the only reason we can attribute is that Bhagavad Pada got it out of the ocean of Mahabharata. There were so many Gitas, Yaksha Prashna, Kunti Stuti, so many Gitas. But Bhagavad Pada Acharya knew what to take. He wrote an elaborate commentary, and in my opinion, the only elaborate commentary that first came. Madhusudana Saraswati Swamin also wrote the commentary, but it is not as elaborate as Bhagavad Pada Acharya. So it is our utmost duty to have great and deepest reverence for our Bhagavad Pada Acharya. You are sitting here peacefully today. You are celebrating Krishna Janmashtami. You are celebrating Ganesha Chaturthi. You are celebrating Dasara. You are going to a temple. You are able to perform some puja. 1200 years back, it was not this way. So every person who has the feeling that he belongs to the Sanatana Dharma or he is the Sanatana Dharma Anuyayi has to do one thing, that he has to have greatest and deepest reverence for Bhagavad Pada Acharya. That is the best we can give. Or else, it is a shame. I happened to meet one scholar from Poland in Kaladi. That scholar was conversing with us very fluently in Sanskrit. So there were two other friends of mine who had also come with me. As it is the case for every Sanatana Dharmi, they had no reverence to Bhagavad Pada Acharya, and that is the first time they were listening to him. So this Poland scholar asked, why are they so casual? Don't they have reverence to Bhagavad Pada Acharya? I have found my own state. I have found that peace only through his teaching. And you Indians do not have reverence, and I am shocked, is what he told. So, tomorrow is a very auspicious day, like none other. If you have that spurana that I belong to Sanatana Dharma, all you have to do is worship Bhagavad Pada Acharya. And Bhagavad Pada Acharya, through his Amnaya Pitas, has created an elaborate Guru Parampara. And each one of them are either Parameshwara Swarupa or Sharda Swarupa. And this is no exaggeration. If you have had a decent introduction to Sharda Guru Parampara or Sringeri Guru Parampara, everyone would acknowledge this. So basically, this retreat is going to focus around 6th chapter of Gita, which is the Dhyana Yoga Prakarana. You are going to enjoy the gist now and see the elaborated version later. How is through the life of the 35th acharya, Srimad Abhinava Vidyatirtha Mahaswamiji. I will not take his name with due respect. I will address him later on as Sri Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam. I will tell you a secret. End of 1.5 days from now, if you don't understand anything that is being taught here, you don't understand the technical terms that are being discussed here, you don't understand the bhashya, you don't understand the Gudhartha Deepika, trust me, you don't have to worry. If you are able to take this essence from the life of our Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam, the entire 6th chapter of Dhyana Yoga Prakarana will be so easy to you. Or we will keep it the other way around. In case you missed to listen this, and next 1.5 days you are not able to understand anything, all you have to do is read the life of Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam, especially Yoga, Enlightenment and Perfection. That book will cover the entire aspects of Dhyana Yoga Prakarana in all its nuances. This great Mahan was born in 1917 in this holy place of Bangalore to Ramashastri and Lakshmi Amma. This kid, unlike the other kids, did not exhibit the childlike nature and was already matured. How does this happen? Shrutinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate. In Gita, Arjuna asks, I am practicing a spiritual sadhana and the prarabdha of this body is over and I leave this body. Will the fruits of my action or the penance or the tapas, will it go in vain? Arjuna asks in Gita. Bhagavan says, no. It will continue from that point you left in the next janma. Shrutinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Bhijayate. And at the age of 7, this small boy, who in his Purvashrama was called Sri Srinivasa Shastri, had his Upanayana in the holy land of Sringeri itself. On the auspicious day of Shankara Jayanti. And this boy refused to go back, or rather come back from Sringeri to Bangalore, and told that I do not want to study English education, I do not want to go to an office, and I do not want to work just to fulfill my stomach. I will stay with the Paramacharyas, the Jivanmukta Purusha, the greatest of the greatest Jivanmukta Purusha, Sri Chandrasekhar Bharati Mahaswami, and do my Gurukula Vasa. So you will have to go back in time. So I am hoping that most of you have visited Sringeri at least once. So you will have to go back in time when there was no Vidyatirtha Setu, that bridge. So Chandrasekhar Bharati Mahaswami, along with Srinivasa Shastri and one more person, was housed in today's Mahasannidhanam's private secretary office that we see, where we get the Bhiksha Vandanam sheet. He was housed there. And it was not the structure that we see today. It was a very dilapidated structure. And it was the norm of Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal to visit the Kala Bhairava temple every evening during the Pradosha Samaya. And he used to also take this Balaka Sri Srinivasa Shastri. And it was also the time that Bhashya Swamigal was also there. One evening, Paramacharya Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal throws a debate between Sri Srinivasa Shastri and the great Pandit Bhashya Swamigal. He says, tomorrow Srinivasa Shastri will talk about the greatness of sannyasa jivana and Bhashya Swamigal will talk about the greatness of grihastha. They are going to talk in the presence of the holy Shiva, Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami. Bhashya Swamigal prepared whatever has to be prepared. The next evening, while on the way to Kalabhairava temple, this discussion started. Bhashya Swamigal told the effects and the highness, the merits of grihastha. After listening to everything, our Srinivasa Shastri told the greatness of sannyasa jivana. He quoted Bhartrhari's work. He told, Bhoge Rogavayam, Kule Chutivayam. There are so many things that he quoted. And the end he says, Vairagyameva Abhayam. One character that we have naturally imbibed or that has come to us is that of fear. All the actions you do is just to make you secure. If you can do the manana closely, you will understand. All the actions. You are depositing money in the bank so that you are secured and nothing bothers you later. You are getting insurance, 4-5 insurances with you so that all the hospitals will take you and help you. And Srinivasa Shastri told, therefore, sannyasa jivana is the greatest of the greatest. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal was elated. He was very happy, but he did not express anything. And Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal started talking about the inconsistent nature of this world. This is not in the Yoga Enlightenment Perfection. This story comes in the Guru Kripa Vilasa. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal told that this body is not permanent. This is all the respects. Everything that this body gets is due to that presence of something within you. Once that leaves the body, it is not even addressed by the relation. They will ask, has the body been taken? That is the impermanent nature of this world. And Bhashya Swami quotes, just while Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal was saying this, there was a dead body that was going. If you can imagine the Kala Bhairava temple and the road behind that Kala Bhairava temple, it is there that this scene happened. There was a body going. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal called Srinivasa Shastri, told him that the final procession is of this person. There are so many bands that are being taken with him. They have applied the sandalwood paste. So many people are crying with him. Does this body know that it is applied sandalwood paste? It is this impermanent nature. Understand, oh my boy. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami tells. And after this, This was around Prathama or Dvitiya. In that same month of Ekadashi, this Srinivasa Shastri, this is a very, very, very bone melting incident. This Srinivasa Shastri gets a fever, very high fever. As it is the norm in the Pathshala, the personal attendant will go and inform this to the acharya, Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami. Every time what happens is that Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami will either give Akshata Prasada or any fruit or any Bhasma Prasada. But Leela has to take. When Bhashyaswamigal went and reported this to Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami, Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami did not reply. He said, okay. And this boy is suffering from fever. His mental health is in not right place. But his mouth constantly told Sadguru Pahi, Sadguru Pahi, Sadguru Pahi. He kept on murmuring Sadguru Pahi, Sadguru Pahi, Sadguru Pahi. And whenever he got consciousness, he would wake up and ask Bhashyaswami, does Acharya know that I am suffering with fever? Bhashyaswamigal, I don't know what Sankalpa was made. Or I don't know if it was a play. Bhashyaswamigal told, my boy, no Vibhuti Prasadam or Akshata has been given. But Acharya has told he will come to you directly. Acharya is, if you have read the life of Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami, you will know he's the direct incarnation of Sakshat Ishvara. And these are not words of exaggeration. And on the next day, Dwadashi day, Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal will be going to the Anhika, where we have the Sandhya Vandana Mantapa now. He will go to the Anhika. He will have to cross through that private secretary office. You will have to imagine, you will have to go back in time to imagine. Very silent Sringeri, pin drop silence. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal will hear this. Bhashyaswamigal will accompany him. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal will ask, what is this? Bhashyaswamigal will tell, this is the state in which our Srinivasa Shastri is suffering from 3 days. So Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal will look around, make sure that no one is there, and he will enter that kutira. Srinivasa Shastri becomes conscious just by hearing those footsteps, the Paduka sound of Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami. He gets up. He falls at his holy feet. Though it is not the Sampradaya, Srinivasa Shastri will tightly hold the holy Padukas, the holy feet of Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami. Then Acharya lifts him up, places his hands on Srinivasa Shastri's head. Acharya has already come by then. Now should I have to even tell that his fever was no more? He has already crossed the ocean of samsara. And 1 month, exactly after 1 month, Srinivasa Shastri was initiated into sannyasa. Now, this is the introduction. That holy name can purify all your sins. Srimad Abhinava Vidyatirtha Mahaswamiji. the 35th acharya. And the story that will continue from here are all recorded in this book called Yoga, Enlightenment and Perfection. All of you can download this and it is available for free. As it is the norm in Sringeri Mutt, after the sannyasa ashrama, the yatis are taken in the Addapallakki Utsava. So Chandrasekhar Bharati Mahaswami, there are two Addapallakki Utsavas, one made out of gold and the other in silver. You will have to imagine, Chandrasekhar Bharati Mahaswami is holding the hand of our Jeshta Mahasanidanam, who is so young and walking. And when the silver chariot comes, or the silver palanquin comes, Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami gets into the silver palanquin and asks Jeshta Mahasanidanam to go and sit in the golden palanquin. This is not the norm. Usually it is the other way around. So naturally there is chaos among the devotees that something wrong has happened, all this has happened. So the administrator comes and informs Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami as if he does not know that you are supposed to sit in the golden palanquin and the young Swami is supposed to sit in the silver palanquin. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami says, he is your acharya. Behold him and you will be freed from samsara. And after the Addapallakki Utsava and other Utsavas, they retire to their quarters. The magic starts from here. Our Jeshta Mahasanidanam on the first day after his sannyasa would retire into his room to sleep. And he will have that divine dream. As if he is in Kailasa. There is a white column of light through which comes out the spatika, out of which comes the Parameshwara. Now you can ask me, we have studied Vedanta. Swapna is not real, it is mithya. How do you say this? There is a shastra called Swapna Vidya. Okay. There it says, if either a guru or acharya or devata comes in your dream, it is not a dream. It is a blessing, it is an anubhava. Because we are not consuming acharya and other people like we consume other materials. So it is due to their abundant grace that they are coming. First day of this dream, after acharya does namaskaram to Parameshwara, acharya describes the Parameshwara, says he's white with jata, snakes hanging all over his body, full of bhasma. And Parameshwara teaches him the entire Yoga Shastra. He starts from pranayama. Now you will ask me why there is no yama, niyama and other things. Yama, niyamas have happened in the Purvashrama itself. When the debates happened, when Acharya placed his hand on Jeshta Mahasanidanam's head. Now, so it is directly into the yoga. Through a course of 7 days, 7 consecutive nights, Sakshat Parameshwara in his Saguna Rupa teaches the entire Yoga Shastra to our Jeshta Mahasanidanam. And Jeshta Mahasanidanam, after finishing his Anhika every day, used to practice this. Though Acharya states, though Parameshwara did not name any of the asanas, it is through the book called Hatha Yoga Pradipika that Acharya learned the names of these asanas. So a devotee asks Acharya, Did Parameshwara teach you all the asanas that has been recorded in Hatha Yoga Pradipika? Acharya says, yes, except a mudra called Vajroli. Now, if Acharya has to, if Acharya starts practicing this, meanwhile what happens? The devotee, the same author who has written this book, asks Acharya, did you share these experiences with your Guru, Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami? Because it was just 2 to 4 days after the sannyasa, where these dreams, where this divine place ever discussed with your Guru, asks the devotee. So, Acharya gives us a lesson here. He says, our Acharya, my Guru, Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal, used to spend very little time with me. And all the time that he spent was either for Anhika or Shastra Pata. I did not want to waste my time telling all these experiences to him. We will have to, what the takeaway is, we will have to understand what to go and tell to a Guru, what not to, and how not to disturb him. And after this, after the 7 days of consecutive sleep, Acharya was master in the Yoga Shastra. And after the 7th day, Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal initiates him into 2 mantras. One is Bala mantra and the other is the Narasimha mantra. So the Dhyana starts from here. Acharya teaches him how to do the Dhyana. Vivikta Desha Sevitaha. So there are so many rules prescribed for Dhyana that you will have to stay in one place. Do the Dhyana during the same time, on the same deity, under the watchful eyes of the Guru. The place has to be clean. It should not be too tall or too short. Because when the Savikalpa Samadhi occurs, there are chances that this body may faint. And if it is in a too elevated height, there are chances that this body may get affected. And if it is on the ground, due to the long tenure of Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there are chances that the insects, scorpions and other things might bite. That this is the same thing that happened to the great Jivanmukta Purusha Ramana when he was in the Patala Linga. So Acharya starts to teach him the Dhyana. How should we do the Dhyana first? Because all of you are well versed with Vishnu Sahasranama, I will take that example and tell you how it has to be done, as opposed to how we are doing it. There is a Dhyana mantra for each Devata. Ganesha, there is a Dhyana mantra. Vishnu, there is a Dhyana mantra. Krishna, there is a Dhyana mantra. So, in Vishnu Sahasranama, it is the Virat Purusha of the Vishnu. Or the Vishnu who is lying down on the Sheshavahana. How does the Dhyana start? Kshiro Dhanvat Pradeshe Shuchimani Vilasat Saikatair Muktikanam. Or the other Dhyana mantra, there are 2 Dhyana mantras. The other Dhyana mantra is Bhuf Padau Yasyanabihi. How should it be done? Is you will have to sit, do the pranayama first. Why pranayama? Is because the mind and the prana both have the same utpatti sthana. These are the spiritual secrets that you ought to get it from a guru. The mind and the prana both have the same utpatti sthana. If you can't understand this, I will give you an example. When you are shocked, you do this, your mind stops, so does your prana. So both have the same utpatti sthana. So when the prana starts to move, the mind also starts to waver. So after doing the pranayama, you will have to imagine or do the dhyana of the Vishnu as the entire cosmos. Bhuf pado yasya nabhihi, or the other way around, Kshiro dhanvat pradeshe shuchimani vilasat saikateir moktikana. I will not get into the details of each anga, but the proof for this is in the Bhagavata, Kapila Devahuti Samvada, where Kapila Bhagavan teaches Devahuti Amma as to how to do the dhyana. Each anga has to be meditated separately. If it is the pada, it is the Ganga Janaka pada. Then Uru, then Nabhi, Kamala, Brahmajanana Nabhi. Then the Vakshasthala, then the Bhuja, then the Hasta, then the Mukhamandala. It is in this way that one has to do the dhyana. But how are we doing it? Bhupado yasinabhihi Kshirodhanvat Pradeshe Shuchimani Vilasat Saikater, because we'll have to finish in 24 minutes. If possible, play it in 1.5 speed and finish it in 20 minutes. If you are actually doing the dhyana, it has to be done in this way. And so, this is the first time our Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam is going to experience this. Okay? And Acharya gives him the Nrisimha mantra. First, he starts with the dhyana. I will not say the mantra here. I will say the dhyana. He says, Satyajnana Sukhaswarupam Amalam Kshirabdhi Madhyastitam Yogarudhamati Prasannavadanam Bhusha Sahasrojwalam Tryaksham Chakra Pinakam Abhayavaran Vibhranam Markachivam Chatri Bhuta Panindra Mudhi Davalam Lakshmi Nrisimham Bhaje is the dhyana shloka. How is this dhyana shloka? I will give you an image. Nrisimha is sitting with 4 hands. On one of his laps is Lakshmi. 2 hands with Shanka and Chakra. The other hand holds the Pinaka bow. The other hand is the Abhaya Varada. It has the Shesha Chatra. And Acharya Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal taught him this dhyana shloka. What happens? Acharya allows him to repeat the dhyana shloka, and Acharya, while repeating the mantra, does the dhyana as it is. As if Satya Jnana Sukha Swarupam Amalam Kshirabdi Madhyastitam. As if he's sitting in the ocean with Lakshmi, the 2 hands, he does the dhyana with the Pinaka bow, then he does the dhyana of the Shesha Chatra. His prana subsides, his mind subsides, his sense organs subside. He's already reached that Nirvikalpa Samadhi or the Savikalpa Samadhi. This is from the viewpoint of Acharya. What happens on the other side? The Guru, in front of whom our Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam used to never sit. That Guru is bowing his hands in front of Shishya, who's already become a Narasimha avatara there. And what happens? Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami prays to him. Prays to his Shishya Swami, Sri Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam. He says, Daya Sandram Balam Nikila Jagati Rakshanachanam Harantam Vignadrim Vimala Vimalai Vikshanachanaihi Parabrahma Karam Pranava Viditam Shanta Manasam. Gurum Vidyatirtham Kalayata Buddhash Chitta Kamale. Acharya Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal gives this shloka. Then what happens to Jyeshta Mahasanidanam? Slowly his prana arises. Then the manas, then the sense organs, and he realizes that he is sitting in front of Acharya. And what happens there? Acharya removes his Anjali. And the most noticeable factor in our life, in the life of our Jyeshta Mahasanidanam, is this Arjavam. Every Vedanti has to have this attitude of Arjavam. What happened? He has to, he ought to tell it as it happened. There is no room for unwanted Vinaya there. That is how they are saying, I don't know, it is my nothing. Says this, that when I reclaim my sense organs, when I reclaim my body senses, Acharya also removed his hand. Then Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal states, you were in that state, so I bowed to you. Now you are back as Jyeshta Mahasanidanam. Now I am here. And what happens? He gives the Nrisimha Upadesha. Okay? He gives the Nrisimha Upadesha, and now he is already equipped with Dhyana. Acharya also teaches him how to do the Dhyana. Disclaimer that none of you should try this without the support of the Guru, because as Acharya has only stated here, it will have bad effects. Concentrate between the two eyebrows and concentrate the vigraha on which you are doing the dhyana, and Acharya will have the sakshatkara there, of Nrasimha sakshatkara in the Saguna Rupa. Acharya also does the dhyana of Bala. Srividya, in the Srividya Sampradaya, Bala is a very important mantra. Acharya also does the dhyana of Bala. Then he also has the darshan of Bala in today's Kala Bhairava temple. That each sand in Sringeri is already purified. Because people like Jyeshta Mahasanidanam just stayed from time immemorial, so many Jivanmukta Purushas. And after that, Acharya used to do the Dhyana. Now, Acharya has to have the Savikalpa Samadhi. What is the process? There are many processes, there are different processes. First, he has to do the Dhyana, then Savikalpa Samadhi, and from there, Savikalpa Samadhi to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This is the process. Now, Acharya has to have the Savikalpa Samadhi. Meanwhile, what happens? Acharya is also initiated into different mantras. Balagopala mantra, Santana Gopala Krishna mantra, Medha Dakshinamurti mantra. All the mantras Acharya is initiated. And Acharya used to visit a small hillock near Malahanikareshwara, where he used to sit, and right in front of him, he used to have the temple Gopura Darshana of Malahanikareshwara. So this is the seating arrangement in that small hillock. And every day around the same time, that is around 4:35, Acharya used to go to that small hillock for dhyana. You cannot imagine this with today's Sringeri. Like again, you'll have to go back, where hardly any people used to come. So Acharya used to go. And there, once while meditating, this used to continue for a long time. And every day on the way to that small hillock, Acharya used to get an intuition that today I will meditate on this God. Today I will meditate on Parameshwara. Today I will meditate on Krishna. He had the Sakshatkara of Krishna also. He had the Sakshatkara of Shiva, who was his direct guru, who taught him the Yoga Shastra. He had the Sakshatkara of Ambal. In the same book, I am not going to touch that chapter, but in the same book, in the Kundalini Yoga, I think it is the 5th chapter or something. Ambal will teach him the Kundalini Yoga. And he will have this Savikalpa Samadhi. Now, the Savikalpa has to move to Nirvikalpa. Okay, Savikalpa, I will make it very gross for your understanding. Savikalpa, suppose you are seeing the Sharda Rupa, this is the Savikalpa or the Saguna Rupa. The Pratyak Atman is the Nirvikalpa Swarupa. So, the Savikalpa Samadhi has occurred to him. He has had the darshan, he has had that Savikalpa Samadhi. Everything is done. Now, this Savikalpa has to move to Nirvikalpa. And how does this happen? That is the magic. See, until Savikalpa Samadhi, your efforts, all those things will stay. In Savikalpa, there is still the Triputi that we call in the Vedanta that I am doing the Dhyana, there is the Dhyana Murti, and there is the Kriya called Dhyana. The Triputi still exists, but the Nirvikalpa, there is no Triputi, there is that absolute Brahman. How does this happen? So there is one incident that gives him this. One evening, as usual, when Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam was about to go for his dhyana around the Sai Raksha Samaya, which is around the 4:30 or the Pradosha Samaya as we call it today, 4:35. There is one attendant who used to also accompany Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam. This is a very, very, very heart-touching incident. There is also one attendant who used to accompany Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam. And as it is the norm, Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam used to do the namaskarams before going for this dhyana. And Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal that day was very happy, very emotive. See, Jivanmukta Purushas are not very emotional. They are in that state. Like they say in Gita, Samadukke, Sukhadukke, Same Kritva, Labha, Labho. They are always in that state. So when they are emotive, it means that some Leela is going to happen. Acharya gives him the Panchakshara mantra that day. And places his hands on our Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam's head and says, today you do the dhyana of Parameshwara. And they leave. Just while getting down from that steps, Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam remembers that he has forgot his asana. So the Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam and his attendant, both of them come to the quarters of Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal. They take the asana and they leave. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal claps his hand. So Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal is starting in the Sachidananda Vilas. Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam and his attendant are going there. Both of them turn towards Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal signs Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam to go and calls this attendant. He calls this attendant and tells him, you don't have to go today. You stay with me for my Anhika. What happens on the other side? Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam goes to that hillak. Does the dhyana. He has that sakshat darshana of Parameshwara. And after that, he continues the dhyana. By end of his dhyana, there is a bird sitting on his shoulder. These are not exaggeration. The shastra says this. In Yoga Taravali, Acharya says, a person who is in that state will appear as if he is a stone or a marble stone. There is absolute no movement. Prana is also stopped. He is in that absolute state. So birds think that it is some rock and sit. He wakes up, this bird goes away. The mind is not going outside. It is already around 5:45. His mind turns inwards once more. Meanwhile, what happens? This Saguna has to go to Nirguna. Parameshwara is very elated. Parameshwara, Sakshat Parameshwara, places his hands on Jeshtamasanidanam's head and says, "My child, you don't have to worry. The Nirvikalpa Samadhi will occur to you." Acharya has also given the walk that Parameshwara told him. And the mind again turns inward. He does Dhyanam. He gets that Nirvikalpa Samadhi. He's forgotten his body, mind, Panchabhuta, Panchakosha, prana has stopped, the mind has subsided. All that exists is that Brahman, absolute Brahman. And this happens till 6:30 for 1.5 hours more. And by the end of the dhyana, Acharya feels terribly cold. And he feels as if he is wearing a mala. And he sees he has a black cobra around his neck. He pats this snake and the snake goes away. And he realizes that it is around 6:30 and he has to do the anhika. He is about to place his first step on that steps. The attendant is coming up. Acharya asks him, "Why is that you are coming now? Where were you all this while?" So the attendant says that Paramacharya called me and he asked me not to go today. He asked me to stay with him. And around 6:15, he asked me, "You go now, it will be correct." Guru will know everything. It is not words of exaggeration that they keep telling in the shastras that go to Guru, go to Guru, go to Guru, surrender to Guru. Then they come back. And Acharya will be waiting for Jeshtamahasanidanam, will tell him, "Finish your anhikas and come and meet me." Acharya finishes his anhika, goes to his room. After doing the namaskaram, Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal asks, "Whatever Shiva has told you, you can do it from tomorrow." Acharya states this word, "Vatsa Shvav Prabhriti Atra Nirakare Pare Tattve Manaha Samadhatsva Achirena Brahma Stito Bhavishyasi." Acharya has given the entire walk that Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal also told, also Parameshwara told him. And the devotee who wrote this book asks, what happened to Parameshwara? Where did he go? He said, even when I had the manifestation of Parameshwara, it is not that he came out of the blue, stood in front of me. It was slowly, first I saw his pada, then I saw his knee, then on Vakshasthala, then that white effulgent face, then the jata, I saw Parameshwara. And since he came slowly, he also vanished slowly. He also states, because I had the darshan of Parameshwara, Parameshwara wanted to bless me more. So he left his favorite thing with me, which is the snake. And after this, what happens? The Nirvikalpa Samadhi goes. It grows onto Jeshta Mahasanidanam. He's in that Nirvikalpa Samadhi for long hours. The Anhika is disturbed, the Darshana is disturbed, everything is disturbed. If he sat today in Dhyana of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he would wake up 2 days after. No food, nothing. And one day what happens? Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamiyal enters the room of Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam. And what was the age of our Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam? Around 18. Enters the room and he sees Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam in absolute Nirvikalpa Samadhi, contemplating on that Brahman. No motion. He goes near Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamiyal goes near Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam, goes near his ears and starts to chant the pranava. Om, Om. This is how the shastra says that if one has to be got out of this Nirvikalpa Samadhi, they do the Shankadhvana near the ear or the pranava. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami, Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam hears his guru's voice. Then Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami says, finish your Anhika and come and meet. Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami and Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam meet, and Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami says, Parameshwara ordered me to go and spoil your Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Because he says, if your Shishya Swami does not come out of the Nirvikalpa Samadhi now, he will not come out until his body falls. So Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami comes there, tells him that he has to make it a routine. Because he is a Pitadhipati, he will have to give darshan to devotees, he will have the mutt affairs to look after, so he cannot be in the state, he will have to regulate that. See, he left his family, he left everything just to attain this. And what is more beautiful, that he even sacrificed Nirvikalpa Samadhi just to bless us. And this is the only Guru Parampara we can see all such things. And Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam regulates his time. He regulates his Nirvikalpa Samadhi time. And till his last, till 1989, he had regulated, he had a practice, and he was in that state alone. And after a point, it becomes Sahaja Samadhi. You are always in that Sahaja Samadhi. Now, the devotee, the author of this book, asks, we all renounce everything just to attain this Brahman. You have attained that. And still, when your Guru, the Paramacharya, told you to regulate this, wasn't contradicting to what was happening to you? He told, no. For me, my Guru is Sakshat Parameshwara. He told me something and I had to do it without an ounce of doubt. He regulates this. And one of the personal secretaries whom I know very, very, very closely told me that he used to be in Sahaja Samadhi always. So around 1970s, 80s, someone asks this, you have attained the Nirvikalpa Samadhi at the age of 18. You have done the Dhyana Prakriya. All those things have been done. Whenever for the mutt affairs, you had to get angry. You had to tell someone sternly something. Wasn't it affecting you? So Jyeshta Mahasanidhanam says, I was a witness of that thought. And that thought and body behaved accordingly. I was the pure witness consciousness to that thought. That thought came, that behaved in that way, and it went away. It never affected me. And after this, Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami gives him one more teaching. He says this shloka. He quotes, Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami quotes one shloka from Shatashloka. And he says, whenever you are walking, and how was Acharya's state when he had the darshan of Narasimha? I missed to tell that. That each one of you should know. Acharya records it. Whenever he walked, it felt as if he was doing pradakshina to Narasimha. Whenever one morsel of rice went to his mouth, he felt that he is feeding Narasimha within him. Wherever he saw, Sarvatra Narasimha Darshan. And he lived like that till his end. And in my opinion, Acharya does not have an end. He's still with us here. He is with us here. And it is not my imagination. Our Mahasanidanam says that someone came and asked Mahasanidanam, can we see Jyeshtha Mahasanidanam now? Where is he? Oh, Jyeshtha Mahasanidanam. I think he has gone to Sharadamba's temple to have his darshan. He is here with us right now. Jivanmukta Purushas, though they leave their body, they are in this antariksha. If you are subtle enough, if it is so palpable that you can feel them. And he says, whenever you are seated, this is after the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Whenever you are seated, you should imagine yourself as though you are sitting in that Brahmanda ocean of Atman. Whenever you are walking, you should feel that there is a wave that has aroused from that ocean of bliss. Because the waves, bubbles, and ocean are not different. Waves and bubbles owe their existence to that ocean alone. And when you are sleeping, you have to meditate in such a way that you are going to sleep in that akhandatva. You have to meditate in such a way that you are going into that akhandatva, in that ocean where there is no more waves. And Acharya states there was a great deal of happiness, and that happiness through Nirvikalpa Samadhi was also palpable in these states, because my Guru Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal had taught me this. Whenever you are talking to someone, know that it is that same Brahman that has come there, and it is that same Brahman which is talking here. What is more important is that Acharya, he is so kind. His kindness cannot be measured. Acharya is so kind that he has given us all these details inch by inch. Like I said, if you do not understand this Dhyana Yoga of Bhagavad Gita, do not worry. You can download. It does not mean that you don't have to concentrate here in the next 2 sessions. It's not that. In case you do not understand, you have doubts, this book will answer the entire essence, or will give you each and every minute nuances of this Dhyana Yoga Prakarana. And Acharya, it is his utmost grace that this topic actually came up. This was not planned. Acharya, through some way, conveyed that this topic and Yoga, Enlightenment, Perfection, this book is very, very, very dear to me. I have benefited a great amount of deal from this book. Spiritual queries for me have been answered from this book. Acharya has also blessed me in many ways. So I think it is his utmost grace that he made this as the first session, asked me to talk about yoga, enlightenment, perfection, and dhyana yoga. So I will offer this as usual, my talk, the holy feet of Mahasanidanam and my Guru, and end this. Because I have not been blessed to see Acharya, I was born much later after Acharya left his mortal coils. But Acharya has blessed me in many ways. He has given me contacts. He has given me satsang of his closest of the closest. People who have served him for 30, 40 years. People who have been initiated by him. People who have been blessed with this Vidya. Acharya was so kind that he gave me contacts of all these people. Satsanga. So I offer this. So I do not know if I have made justice to this topic. So I request the audience to take whatever is right and leave whatever is not right. If anything is right, the whole credit should go to Mahasanidanam, Jyeshta Mahasanidanam and my Guru. If there is anything wrong and it is for me and because of my lack of understanding and my incapability. So I will stop it here and offer this at Mahasanidanam and my Guru's feet. Sadguru Maharaj ki